but we're calling a spade a spade. Great to be here with you guys today. What the heck is going on? What a Wednesday it has been over the last 7-8 hours. Caitlin Clark dropping a new colorway, showing us.
Congress is now demanding answers from the WNBA, and the Indiana Fever felt the need to respond to a letter that didn't even mention their name.
At Caitlin Clark's new yellow colorway of the Nike Caitlin 1. These are 10 zillion times better than the blue and whites. They pop more. They look more unique. They look crispier. Much better than the blue and whites. To me, this should have been the first colorway that you...
Before we get into the political firestorm, let's start with something everyone can agree on. The yellow colorway is flat out better, coming in at $140 for the holiday season. That's a real price point, not the $185 you're dropping on some other signature shoes, not the $210 for Jordans. Nike priced this to move, and the timing of dropping this colorway the same day the congressional letter story explodes. That's not an accident. That's a brand knowing exactly what it's doing. But the shoe story is the easy part. The harder conversation, the one that should actually bother you, is what's happening with how the Fever are managing Caitlin Clark's body and her schedule, and why Congress getting involved is the symptom of something much bigger. We'll get there.
Video of Caitlin Clark gearing up for today's game against the LA Sparks. So she's got a yellow colorway against the LA Sparks. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying it's interesting, the timing, right?
There it is. Eli Boston sits tonight. Caitlin Clark sits tomorrow. They flip-flop. Clean, tidy, managed. And if you are a fan who bought a ticket to either of those games specifically to watch your player, you just got the short end of that deal, and there is nothing you can do about it.
And you don't want to buy tickets to a game not knowing if your favorite player is going to play, or if the team is going to have her load manage, or she's going to load manage. You don't want to do that as a fan. You don't want to do that. I've used the example numerous times. The Lakers were coming to Brooklyn to play the Nets. I was getting ready to hit purchase. This is what, 5, 6, 7 years ago. This is a long time ago. I was getting ready to hit purchase on a ticket sale. I said, you know what? Let me just make sure that none of these guys are load managing. I open up the ESPN app. I come to find out LeBron's load managing, Anthony Davis load managing. It just left a bad taste in my mouth. It just left a bad taste in my mouth. And as a fan, I hate even having to be cognizant of a player that That
LeBron and Anthony Davis story is one that basically every NBA fan who bought tickets in that era knows personally. You check the app at the last second because you've learned through painful experience that you cannot just trust the schedule. That is what load management has done to the fan relationship with the league. It has trained people to distrust the product they are paying for. Now, take that frustration and multiply it by the fact that we're talking about Caitlin Clark, arguably the single biggest draw in women's basketball history. A player who has moved the needle on WNBA ratings, attendance, and media coverage in a way nobody else has in decades. When you load manage that player, you're not just benching an athlete. You are pulling the one card that brought new people to the table. That is a business decision with consequences that go way beyond one game.
This is what they fired Scott Agness for. In case you guys aren't aware, this is what they fired Scott Agness for.
Just Aaliyah Boston was obviously listed as questionable yesterday. How did she feel through shoot around, and do you have an update on her status for tonight?
Yeah, she just did some of the shooting. She's going to be out tonight. Again with the back-to-back. And Caitlin are back-to-back. Caitlin's going to be active tonight. AB's not, and then they'll flip-flop tomorrow.
What has been
their load managing?
Scott Agness was fired. That matters. The organizational memory of what happens when you mismanage these stars is right there in the building. And yet here we are watching the same pattern play out under a different coach. The question nobody in the Fever front office seems to want to answer publicly is simple. If load management was a fireable offense before, why is it the policy now? And that is precisely the kind of question that Congress started asking.
I'm a huge Clark supporter, but even for me, this act is getting exhausting. Hey, I hear you. So if you guys aren't aware by now, I talked about this on the Quick Hits channel.
Getting exhausting. That is a Clark supporter saying that Not a critic, not someone looking for a reason to pile on, someone who has been in her corner from the beginning. And when your own base starts saying the act is getting exhausting, that is a signal not to dismiss, but to actually understand. 3 seasons of watching her get hammered on the court, dealing with injuries, and now sitting games back-to-back in a season where congressional representatives are filing letters about player safety. Music, that is a compounding frustration, and it is earned.
Answers from the WNBA. They're asking answers from Kathy Engelbert. They penned a letter to Kathy Engelbert, and Chloe Peterson, being the mouthpiece for the Fever, Chloe Peterson has put out a Fever statement regarding that letter. Quote, "Our organization nor Caitlin have had any interaction with anyone in this congressional group, and we were unaware of their letter. We have been clear in our public comments and in our ongoing dialogue with the league about the priority of player safety. Our players and our fans know where we stand on those issues, and we will continue to stick up for our team and a standard of..."
Congress penned a letter to WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, not to the Indiana Fever, not to Stephanie White. Music, to Engelbert demanding answers about player safety and specifically the pattern of physical play directed at Caitlin Clark over the last 3 years. That letter was addressed to the league office because the league office is the entity with the authority and the responsibility to set standards for officiating for flagrant foul enforcement and for what constitutes acceptable physicality. The Fever were not the target. They were not named. They were not asked to respond. So why did they?
Now, our organization nor Caitlin have had any interaction with anyone in this congressional group. They didn't even mention you in this letter, Indiana Fever. They didn't even mention your team. They didn't even say Caitlin Clark, a player for the Indiana Fever. They didn't even mention your team, yet you felt the need to chime in. Secondly, they want answers from Kathy Engelbert. Why are they going to reach out to you? Why are they going to ask you anything?
Read that statement again carefully. Our organization nor Caitlin have had any interaction with anyone in this congressional group, and we were unaware of their letter. That is the opening line of a statement from an organization that just voluntarily inserted itself into a federal-level inquirer it was not part of. If you are truly unaware of the letter and had no interaction with the group, then you just confirmed that you issued this statement in response to public pressure, not because anyone asked you to. Music, which raises the obvious follow-up, what exactly are you trying to get ahead of? The rest of the statement talks about ongoing dialogue with the league, about the priority of player safety, and standing up for a standard of excellence. Those are the kinds of phrases that sound like action and describe nothing. Music, what dialogue, when, what standards were applied, and what changed as a result? These are not rhetorical questions. They are the exact questions fans have been asking for 3 seasons. Thanks.
Saying one time in a post-game press conference that she's not happy. Our players and our fans know where we stand on those issues, and we will continue to stick up for our team and a standard of excellence across the league. I'd argue a lot of fans don't know where you stand on those issues because we don't hear from you. We don't hear from you at all. It probably would have been a good idea for the Fever organization and coaching staff to make more of an effort to publicly stand up for Caitlin. For 3 years, people have watched Caitlin get hammered on the court in the name of physicality. That's true. For 3 years, we've been watching it. No, we don't. We absolutely don't know where you stand.
There's a pattern in how the Fever have handled the controversy around Clark's treatment on the court. And the pattern is they respond loudly when the pressure from outside becomes impossible to ignore, and they go quiet when it subsides. The Schmear campaign, 2 weeks of silence from the organization, the fist to the throat, quiet. Congress sends a letter to the league office, and within hours, the Fever's communications team has a statement out. Those response times are not random. They reflect what the organization is actually afraid of. And it tells you a lot about where the real accountability pressure is coming from. The fans who have watched 3 years of this are not wrong to notice. They are tracking what gets a response and what doesn't. And the answer is external political pressure does. Internal fan frustration often doesn't. Interview 10. Frustration often doesn't. We are load managing Caitlin Clark for the rest of the season. Now, Stephanie White didn't say for the rest of the season. I'm just putting 2 and 2 together. She's on load management. Music, we have Congress, as I'm sure we've all seen by now, demanding answers from the WNBA, demanding answers from Kathy Engelbert, demanding answers from Kathy Engelbert, demanding answers from the WM. Yet, the Indiana Fever, I don't know if it's a guilty conscience. I'm not sure what it is. The Indiana Fever felt the need to respond. Let's get right into it. Already a 4-letter word in the NBA before it ever showed up in the WNBA. The reason it generates this level of anger is not just about any one game. It is about the implicit promise between a league and its fans. You buy a ticket, you reasonably expect the players listed to play. Load management breaks that promise without compensation, without notification in advance, and without accountability. When the expectation is not met. In Major League Baseball, you can build 162 games of your summer around following your team and your player. In football, the stakes of every single game are high enough that sitting a healthy player is almost never an option. The NBA and now the WNBA occupy a different space. One where the regular season is long, the playoff structure makes many regular season games feel low stakes, and teams have determined that managing minutes now is worth protecting playoff availability later. The logic is sound from an organizational standpoint. The experience it creates for the fan who just drove 2 hours and spent $400 to watch their favorite player. That logic does not survive the drive home.